What's up, my Northside family? This is Mr. Lutz. We're here to talk about angle pair relationships. First one we're going to talk about are vertical angles. Vertical angles are formed when two straight lines cross. They're the angles that are across from each other. A lot of times they're referred to as the kissing angles. So I'm going to go through and mark. So if I look at angle 1, the angle that is across from it, or its kissing angle, is angle 4. We notice if we look at angle 1 and angle 4, those two angles look a lot alike, and it's because they are congruent. Anytime we have vertical angles, they are congruent. So 1 and 4 are congruent. Another pair that we have would be 2 and 3. They're the angles that are across from each other. We're going to go through and mark all of them. Angle 6 and angle 7. And then we have angle 5 and angle 8. So the one thing that we know about vertical angles are congruent. They equal each other. The next one we're going to talk about is the alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles are angles that are outside the parallel lines. So they're outside the parallel lines and they are across the transversal. So they're across the line that crosses through the parallel lines. If I look at angle 1 is outside the parallel lines, and the angle that is across from it, outside of the parallel lines, is angle 8. There's one more pair of alternate exterior angles, and that would be angle 2, and then the one that is across the transversal and outside the vertical or the parallel lines is angle 7. The third one we're going to talk about are alternate interior angles. So we hear the word alternate, we're immediately thinking across the transversal, and the word interior, we're now thinking inside the parallel lines. So if I look at angle 3, the angle that would be across the transversal, still inside the parallel lines, would be angle 6. And again, there are two pairs of these. So angle 3 and 6, and angle 4 and 5. The fourth one we're talking about are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles, if we look at a quadrant of 4 angles, so if I look at the top 4 angles, I'm going to first look at my angle in the top left corner, which would be angle 1. So if I look at my second, where the transversal cuts to the second parallel line, so my 5, 6, 7, and 8, I also want the number that is in the top left-hand corner, which would be 5. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Another pair would be angle 2 and angle 6. Another pair would be angle 3 and angle 7. And the last pair would be angle 4 and angle 8. And so far, all of the ones that we have done, the alternate exterior, the vertical angles, the alternate interior, and the corresponding angles, all of those angles are congruent. So I'm just going to make sure I write, they are congruent. Alternate interior are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. The next ones we're talking about are supplementary angles. Supplementary angles are angles that add up to equal 180 degrees. In this set, we're going to talk about a very special pair of supplementary angles. They're called a linear pair. And linear pairs add to equal 180 degrees. So the first ones we're going to look at, if I look at angle 1, If I look at angle 1, the angle that would be its linear pair, so they share the same side and they make 180 degrees, so they make a straight line. I'm going to look at angle 1 and angle 2. They're next to each other and they make 180 degrees. The next ones I'm going to look at, angle 3, and the one that would go with that's angle 4. Another one would be angle 5 and 6. And another one would be angle 7 and angle 8. There's also another way that we can go about these. If I look at angle 1 again, there's also another angle that goes along with it that's right next to it and makes a straight line. This time we're going to look at angle 3. Angle 1 and angle 3 are a straight line. They're next to each other. They share a common side. They are a linear pair. Another one would be angle 2 and angle 4. A third one would be 5 and 7. And the last one would be angle 6 and angle 8. So the next one we're going to talk about are complementary angles. Complementary angles are angles that add to equal 100 or to equal 90 degrees. The first ones I'm going to look at, so I need to find two angles that are smaller than 90 degrees. First one I see is angle 10. Need to erase my mark. Angle 10 and angle 2. If I look at these, when I add them together, they make a right angle, which is 90 degrees. The second pair of these would be angle 3 and angle 9. Again, if I look, when combined, they make a right angle. They make a 90-degree angle. So they are complementary angles. The last one we're going to look at are consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary angles. They're going to add to equal 180 degrees. When I hear interior, I have to think inside the parallel lines, and consecutive, they're going to be on the same side of the transversal. So the first one I'm going to see is angle 3. So the angle that is inside the parallel lines with it and on the same side of the transversal would be angle 5. The second one I see is angle 4 and angle 6. Again, if I add those together, they're going to equal 180 degrees. Hope this helps. Talk to you next time.